Okay.
Okay. I've got the recording.
How many people you got on there, Tom?
15.
Okay. Okay, this whole thing is about banking, like I said the other night, okay?
Right.
That number that we got, that certificate of live birth, that is your private birthing patented bank account. Okay?
Yes.
And that's when it was given to you, was the date that second recording. But that is a private banking patented bank account. We are the private bankers here in this country. We were born upon the land. We were banked upon the land on the shores of America, upon the banking shores of America. We're not an outlying island. We're on the continental United States shores of America. We're recorded in the banking title book at the county records, land bank. Everything is about a bank in this whole process. We are the bankers, okay? We're the individual bankers. So we needed to have an individual banker's EIN number, okay? For that letter that the IRS commissioner issued back in '85, okay, it said that basically we owe no taxes and that we can claim all those taxes back because all of those taxes are really banking taxes that are owed to us. They are our customers. We are the bank. And we've allowed them, we've invited them to be our banking customers. Okay? We invited these bankrupt customers, two-dimensional banking, setting up two-dimensional banking accounts. Their two dimensions are a fidelity and a guarantee side of the account. They have to have a fully funded loss of life policy in place for the fidelity side. They use that as collateral on their guarantee side. That $11.2 million that basically we found in all the fidelity endeavors, well, when you divide that out by roughly 17, it's not quite 17, it's a little less, you will come out with a very strange number. Roughly 666,000 silver dollars. 666. That's why they chose 11,000 or 11,200,000. The mark of the beast in the system, in their public usury system, the world of the dead. The guarantee side is a bonded collateral usage payment policy. And this includes all public banking Estopple court cases. They're public banking Estopple court cases that they get us into. And is what they're trying to do is hoodwink us into paying them out of our back pocket. we have to come in with our superior Estopple by deed and order them to settle it from what taxes they owe us. They're withholding banking taxes from my private bank in a collateral assurance fund. By the way, this is banking 101 for all you people out there. You can take a look at it and basically see how this correlates right to a public bank account that you have. You have a fidelity side and you have a guarantee side. But you never utilize the fidelity side. The fidelity side of that public banking account that you have is an insurance policy, a loss of life policy for $250,000 right now today. Used to be $250,000 or $200,000 a couple years ago. Before that, I think it was
Smith and
down to 100. What?
Bill Smith and Lon Singer.
Okay, about time you get here.
All right, I'm on.
Okay. Before that, I think it was started out maybe about 100,000, and then went to 150, and then up to 200, and now it's at 250,000. And those are through the FDIC. Those insurance policies. Now, normally these insurance policies are fully funded. They're still sitting there, okay, because those policies belong to us, the private bank. We have to come in and claim them. I put a claim in for 6 of them the other day. Sent it in the mail yesterday out to the IRS in Ogden, Utah. I also sent my 1099-A red copies down to Kansas City with the 1096 form. But I sent the 1040 form out to Ogden, Utah. We were filling out the 1040 form before, but we never had our banker's EIN number, our individual banker's EIN number. And we are a national individual banker, because with that EIN, we now became a national banker. So we're a national public bank or private bank. Therefore, that gives us additional protections in the process as a national bank. And one of the ones is Bank Robbery Act. Federal statutes intended to state conclusively criminal offenses committed against a national or federal bank or a federal savings and loan association. In entering the institution with the intent to commit a felony, therein, in the taking of property of the institution with force or violence, in carrying away property of the institution with the intent to steal or prolong, and the receiving of property stolen from the institution. Now, when we do our 3949As to the CID, we come in as the individual banker against these fidelity and guarantee companies out here, these bankrupts. We can even turn around and basically, if we put in the taxes, we want a total liquidation of that account, basically because they are in default. They do it against us if we're in default on a public banking account. They come in and terminate the account, and then they pick up that FDIC insurance policy. Or take a portion out of it. Split it with the federal government. This is also covered under the law of mandamus. In modern practice, it is nothing more than an action at law between the parties. So you're going to do a mandamus against them for their default when they do not pay the bill. Right now, the Social Security is in default to me. They're way overdue in default. I'm the private banker. Those assets that basically they're using, they're taxing, banking taxes that they owe me. It's not a benefit. It's banking taxes that are owed to us, that they're holding in collateral assurance funds for their benefit. They're the beneficiaries of us allowing them to be one of our banking customers. All these bills that you get are customer. They have a customer number on there. We're not the customer. They are. We're the banker and the bank. They owe that to us. And all we have to do is do an endorsement on those bills and send them back to them if we've gotten service from them, using those endorsements that I had posted up there before in that roundabout way. You can also put your bankers in per individual banker's EIN number on there. I'll give Tom a template, and basically I'm doing a rework of that Estopple by deed. It's now labeled my private banker's ratified Estopple by deed and banker's lien. A banker's lien, a lien that a banker has on all monies and funds of his depositor or customer in his possession for the balance of the general account and upon all securities of the customer in his hands unless such securities have been delivered to him under a particular agreement limiting their application, or unless there are other circumstances which would make such a lien inconsistent with the actual or presumed intention of the parties. We can place a banker's lien on all of our customers' accounts. We can even order the liquidation of those customer banking accounts. It's all about banking. We are a private bank with an individual banker. Now we control the situation. You have one main birthing account. Private birthing patented bank account. And that's the number that's on that certificate of live birth. If you had military service, you got activated in military service. Then you activated your military service bounty patented bank account under your selective service number. And then you have 2 private individual banking accounts if you've gotten your estate and your foreign grantor trust EINs. But you have a whole bunch of customer bank accounts. You have to think about how these guys operated the public bank system, and then you'll see how you control your private bank system. Okay? So, you put this in, you put down your EINs, you put this all into your Estopple by deed. You can list as many of those bank, your invited bankrupt customer 2-dimensional banking accounts as you can think of. You've got the United States Fidelity and Guarantee Company account. You've got the state of whatever invited bankrupt customer 2-dimensional banking account. You've got, if you had a baptism from a 501c3 church that is a recorded national church, okay, they basically came in and they became a invited bankrupt customer 2-dimensional banking account also, because they came in and they're using your assets. The churches were there to forgive your sins, your debts. They're a communist organization, really, when it comes down to it. All of these religious churches are. That's why a lot of people called Martin Luther King a communist, because he was a minister in a communist church. But the Roman Catholic Church is a communist church. The Presbyterian is a communist church. The Mormons are a communist church. They're a communal church. Communalism is communism. It's not for the individual, it's for the communal system. And basically not for the benefit of the parishioners, for the benefit of the rulers of those churches. Now just look at the bakers down there. Just look at what's his name out there in Oklahoma? Oral Roberts. Just look at half these damn communist religious leaders. They're the ones that are destroying the country. With their falsehoods. And then the government out here, like I said the other night, all these amendments out here, they are totally fraud. They never could have been ratified by the states. The only one that could have been ratified would have been the 17th Amendment, to where the states were giving up their rights because the senators were supposed to be protectors of the state's rights, not the individual's rights, the people's rights. They were supposed to be there to protect the state's rights. So if the states want to give up their rights, yeah, they can ratify that one. But they cannot come in and ratify any amendment that takes away the people's rights. They don't have the authority to do that. Only you can. And that's why that document about the 16th Amendment saying that it was never properly ratified, they couldn't ratify. So how is it ratified? You individually ratified it when you signed the 1040 form. You were individually ratifying that 16th Amendment. The same way you ratified the 14th Amendment. The same way you allowed the women the right to vote. You did not contest it as a man. The same thing with a underage person, 18 to 21, having the right to vote. They don't have the right to vote per the Constitution. They had to be of age. And the age was that they had to be 21 and out of the family. They had to have their own estate in hand. Because you were voting your estate in this country as an individual. And a woman was supposed to merge her dowry into a man's estate. And then they voted as a unit, one. This is all about banking. You bring them into your bank, your estate. This is basic banking 101. Bottom line, basic understanding. And see, we're a three-dimension. For our written title, our living boundary marks, and our seals. They are operating in the dead world, the two-dimensional world. A living man cannot be numbered. That's in the law. Only the dead can be numbered. That's also in the law. And all of these numbered accounts that are out there that we have over them, they're all dead accounts. They're bankrupt. They are in the dead world, the world of the debt. They're the debtors to us. That's why you can turn around and do a 1099-A after you get your banker's EIN number and either come in under your, normally you use the foreign grantor trust to claim your fidelity items, your whole life or your life, loss of life policies. You use your estate EIN to claim your taxes, banking taxes that are due to you from their usage of our assets as collateral. All taxes have to come back to the source. and you are the source for them. They have no funds. So they have to get the funds from us. And then basically they just hope to hell that we never find out about how they have to pay their banking taxes to us. Because as soon as we start getting our taxes due to us, then we can take control over them. We'll have the funds to combat them. So you need to get that banker's EIN number. You need to if you don't have them, you need to get that estate EIN number for all your dead banking accounts. And then you need to have your foreign grantor number for all the fidelity accounts that you granted them the funds to fully fund that loss of life policy. That's why you own it. Because you funded it. You granted them that $11.2 million, which is really 666,000 silver dollars. And in a lot of cases with some of these organizations, you allowed them more than one account, customer account. Especially like in the churches. You start off with a baptism account, then you may, like in a Roman Catholic, you may have jumped up to a confirmation as a soldier for the church account, and then you topped it off with a marriage account. And then if you're registered with the state, you also had another marriage account over with that state of. And you granted them the $11.2 million to fund that account, that policy that belongs to you. And normally in the church, they're held as cess-to-K customer sub-accounts because in some cases, they do not necessarily have an account number on that certificate of baptism. They just give you a certificate. And basically they're holding, in the churches, they're holding all the funds in a communal fund. But for all the state items, you do have normally an account number. Now, you have a vehicle. That is an individual. It's like an Iowa DOT Fidelity and Guarantee Company per private vehicle or private certificate of vehicle title account number. The Fidelity loss of vehicle life policy is the value that's on the certificate. And that policy belongs to you too. When you purchase that vehicle, you purchase that certificate, that value. It was funded by the original buyer or owner of the vehicle, but they didn't know what they gave up. They gave up the full value of that vehicle to sell the vehicle to you for half price or whatever. You got to know how the game is played. And then see, the Iowa DOT, Fidelity and Guarantee Company, they also have a bond payment policy as banking taxes withheld in a collateral fund. They're supposed to be paying the titles, the registration fees, all those fees that are associated with that vehicle out of that banking account. So you can turn around and claim those banking taxes back that they're withholding from you. Court cases are tied normally to the state court, to the state customer account. Under their court estoppels that they have in place. Now, when you come in with your estoppel by deed as a private bank and individual banker, you just took control away from that court because they're public banking estoppel courts. They're trying to estop you, and they're nothing more than basically insurance adjusters. Trying to get you to give up some of the funds out of the bank, out of the the guarantee account that they have in their customer bank account. They're trying to get you to give up some of that. So that's what you do. You settle the books, but you turn around and you take more funds out of it. Keep taking the funds out. Eventually they will dry up. Now, when you want to liquidate them, you can take them into a bankruptcy action and you file the charges against, like, the state of Iowa Fidelity and Guarantee Company. You have to address what company you're taking into bankruptcy. The United States Fidelity and Guarantee Company, the Social Security Fidelity and Guarantee Company, the Veterans Administration Fidelity and Guarantee Company, the United States Department of the Navy Fidelity and Guarantee Company, the Church of Rome or the Church of Southern Baptist Fidelity and Guarantee Company. They're the bankrupts. That's why we can take them into bankruptcy and liquidate them. Involuntary liquidation upon their customer because they are in default of their customer obligations to us. I hope you guys are all recording this, because this is what you really need to understand. It's all about banking, and you are the private bank, and you have your right-hand person as your private individual banker. You have to have your EINs, appropriate EINs, so that you can properly fill out the 1041 form and put in your 1099As using either your estate or your foreign grantor trust account to claim back the funds from the Fidelity side of their company or the guarantee side of their company customer accounts. Anytime you see a 9-digit number, like on a certificate of title, like on a mortgage, like on your driver's license, like on your passport, basically those are individual customer bank accounts. So you've got one hell of a lot of customer bank accounts in your private bank. You need to know how to be a private banker. And I'm trying to get you to understand Banking 101 that you should have been taught a long time ago. And it's even confirmed by that IRS commissioner. That court case, you can look it up. Okay? One of the guys went in and found it. And also, basically, they said a simple 1040X form will suffice until a new form is designed and printed. Well, the new form, and that was in 85 that he said that. April 4th of 85. It just so happens that the next year, the 1041 form came out. That's what the 1041 form was designed for you to go in and obtain your banking taxes that were owed to you by your customers. Everything is about taxes, and you can tax the living hell out of them until basically they dissolve. They will tell you when enough and when they don't have any more funds to fill out to give it to you. I did a partial withdrawal. Submitted those in Saturday against using my estate EIN to get my banking taxes back to the tune of $1,355,020,900. Well, the $20,900 really should have gone over under the foreign grantor trust item because it was basically a loss of life policy for the vehicle's loss of life. So we'll see what comes out. There should have been $20,900 in the collateral fund, assurance fund for that vehicle license number anyway. Because the DOT, where do they get the money for the roads and everything? They have to use our assets as collateral. That's the way the whole government operates. That's the way the churches operate. And then they turn around and get the people to turn around and pay out of their back pocket for the churches they go out and build. That they spare no expense on building the damn church. Because it's all coming out of your accounts anyway. Okay. Open it up for questions, Tom. Anybody's got a question, ask it now or forever hold your peace. Because I won't be married to you much longer.
Well, Mr. Patrick.
I have a question.
Okay, ask it. Speak up, though.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Well, a little better, but try and speak up a little louder yet.
Okay, I'm facing an eviction action, and I think basically I have a judgment. It seems like there's two estoppels going on, one from the biller's side and then one from the court. So the biller is obligated to go to the guarantor, so I would just send a SSN bill endorsement to the biller. And then for the court, I would claim that customer account and then send them a state endorsement for those court charges. Is my understanding correct on that?
You come in and you do your estoppel by deed and basically your banker's lien, okay? Now, you have a customer there, okay? The court is going to be a customer also, okay? That other person is also a customer, okay? And you have to come in and you have to, with your bankers, you have to provide settlement if settlement is judged to be required, okay, from their banking account that they have using your assets. But see, you have to come in with your estoppel. Now you become, and you also put the estoppel in over that court case, because that court case is nothing more than another bank account under the state, if it's a state court, or under the United States, if it's a federal court. You follow me?
Yes.
Okay, so the title of the court case is the name of a bank account?
The person that they're coming in after, okay, is your fictional dead person that allowed them, invited them in to have a bank account in your private bank. Okay?
Yeah.
But you're the individual banker now in the living flesh. And basically, what do they have to have? They have to have a court case number. That's a dead number. That's an account. A dead account. Because they're the bankrupt. That court is a bankrupt also. And they're going to write bonds against that court case out here. So they are operating as a fidelity and guarantee company. A court. State of Iowa court, fidelity and guarantee company. You get sent to prison. They're using you also as collateral. So you have a big collateral assurance fund sitting there under their customer account number. They also had a loss of life policy against you while you were incarcerated in case you died. While you were in prison or whatever. See how convoluted this thing is?
Wow.
But it's all about banking. You understand one account, and you can basically then see all the accounts. Because they have no money. The corporations, they have nothing. They own nothing. It all belongs to the shareholders or to the bankers that are funding them. We're the only true bankers in this country. And we were banked upon the shores of America. They weren't. They were created upon the shores, but they were not banked. They were not funded from the land. We are. The land owes support to us. The land don't owe any support to them. Because we were born from Mother Earth. And a mother always supports her children. I don't know how many times I've said that over the years. Okay. Any other questions?
Patrick,
Yes, I still have
Yes.
a question about this.
when you file a 1041, does that then bring you right back into their jurisdiction?
No. You are the banker. That is your claim to get your taxes back from them. Read that document about the IRS commissioner. It says you owe no taxes, but you are owed taxes.
And how did you come to the figure that you came to?
I just drew some ballpark figures out, I guess, the different accounts that I had, and basically know that they've utilized that for 67 years. So basically, I thought that was a good round number, and that's just a start. That's the thing. You have no idea what their accounts are.
Oh, yes, I do. They're mammoths.
Yes. And see, but in most of those items, you have to take that and divide it by 17. So even though I put in for, and see, you're a private banker now, so you can do the conversion. You take the Federal Reserve dollars and you turn around and go to the Treasury of the United States of America, and you can convert those Federal Reserve dollars into silver certificates.
Really?
Yes. But you have to have your individual banker's EIN to do it. You've got to show that you are a banker, a private banker. The Secret Service has told us numerous times out here that the instruments we were doing, like the bills of exchange, like some of these bonds and everything that people have written, okay, that they're not necessarily wrong. They were just missing having the qualification of being an individual banker for a private bank authorization. Then they would have been good as gold. We've had people go in with their certificate of live birth into a public bank. The public bank asked them, what's your account number? The number that they were looking for was their individual banker's EIN number. And they would have given the transaction to them. See, you don't know how powerful that individual banker's EIN is. And then you also have to have your foreign grantor trust and your estate EIN so that you can transfer your funds around. You've got to learn how to be a private banker. You need to learn banking 101. You've had it. You've had it all these years by the way that you operate with a public bank account. Now just take it into the private and you're good, you're set.
So did you just get another EIN for their private bank?
No, you get the individual banker's EIN for your private bank. He is an employee of the Patrick Devine Private Bank E&T. He's the one that needs to have the identification number. My private bank is private. It don't need a number. Only my banker needs a number, because he's my fictionary person that's out front of my bank.
And so that's Patrick Devine.
Yes, just Patrick Devine, capital first letter, small letters.
So
what?
that's what you asked for when you applied for your EIN?
Yes, I got the template showing exactly what I had filled out.
Okay,
Tom's got it on the website.
Okay, they send it back to you. They sent an
I
evidence.
filled it out online, and about within 2 to 10 minutes, I got the confirmation letter, and I downloaded that and printed it out.
Huh.
Yeah. Doesn't cost you anything. It's free.
Can't beat that. Okay.
Yeah, you can go and get that tomorrow morning. Okay, you can also, I think you're only supposed to get 1 or 2 a day or something like that. So it may take you 3 days to get your banker's EIN, your foreign grantor trust EIN, and your estate EIN. But you need to read and study that that SS4 form also that I had up there, showing an example of the estate and the foreign grantor trust, filling those out. See, in my case, I didn't do any of those for my foreign grantor trust and my EIN. Guess who did them for me? The IRS.
Yep.
When I demanded something from them, just like in the letter, the IRS commissioner said that we're here to serve. But you have to go in with your right authority, not belligerent outright, but your authority speaking with authority, and they will give you service. See, that's the problem. Everybody out here has been going in and arguing, and you're not going to get anything out of an argument.
That's right.
But you go in with authority, and you're going to get the respect that the authority demands. And see, we were damn close on all this, but we were missing our banker's EIN number when we did those 4, 5, 6 years ago, trying to use the 1041s to recuperate our taxes. And that 1099-A is a claim for the banking taxes that are due to us. They're sitting there as abandoned funds in those collateral assurance funds for those guys. But they can continue to use them as collateral if we don't come in and claim them. Does that make sense to you people?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually want to make a statement. This process for all the listeners on this call tonight, everything Patrick is saying is spot on. We actually did this process a couple of years ago with the 1099A, but the incorrect form was used to claim back the tax return. We used a 1040 instead of 1041, and the IRS ended up sending a frivolous filing because the manner in which we were doing the acquisition was utilizing the estate for the Social Security, and because it wasn't the 1041 that was used as the acquisition, something went through the system incorrectly and flagged it. But we were successful in actually acquiring funds from the Treasury Department by utilizing the 1099A process. So it will work when you put it through.
Yeah, and then when you come in with your estate or foreign grant or trust account at the top on that 1041, and then down to bottom, you're coming in, and basically they have to be under a 1041 has to be done under a fiduciary. Okay, so you list your private bank as the fiduciary, and then your individual banker is the officer of the fiduciary bank. And he puts his EIN number down at the very bottom of that form. Now you have your authority to do this transaction. You'll never get another frivolous filing fee.
Now, do you think that, because isn't there an IRS form for fiduciary assignment?
56F for a financial institution.
Right.
And yes, you have. I forgot to mention that last on Friday night's call. Basically, you also have to send in a Form 56 for each one of those accounts when you send that first initial 1041 in. You should send also a copy of the Form 56F for like the estate EIN to where your bank is going to become the fiduciary, and then your individual banker is going to be the agent for that.
I think you should start a new file with all those things, like because this is old technology that you're resurfacing again and fitting to the current situation and findings that we have today. But I think you should start a new folder with all that updated information, the 1099 filing processes, just so the listeners have easy access to finding that on the group site.
Yeah, Tom.
That's just what I'm throwing out there. Also, this is Corey, Patrick. Did you get that? This is off topic. Did you get the letter I sent you, the flash drive?
Ray, you sent me one?
Yeah, I sent you a flash drive. It was really small. I don't know if you got it or not.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's some of the stuff that we'd looked in the past. But see, that's mostly in the codes. And see, we had to really look to the law, primarily advice the codes. The codes will confuse the living shit out of you. So you look to the real law, and basically the real law you find most of the time in the dictionaries.
Right. I brought that up because it was, I don't know if you recall the phone call we had before I sent it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Back when you were dealing with that information, the stuff there from the code supported everything that we were doing in that particular, it was a couple of weeks ago. But I mean, like, the information is, I agree with you 100% as far as, like, not referring to the codes to base upon our claims and have our foundation built on that. But the codes do provide an evidence that we are on the right track by utilizing the dictionary. And there is stuff there that there is a trace that we could see and reverse engineer to fit what we are doing. Like they had the signatures, the endorsement.
Right. It's sort of like the Gospels and the Epistles in the New Testament. Okay.
Exactly.
The Gospels are the real law. The Epistles are basically the parables and everything, basically the codes of law. Okay, in there. So basically, in our system right now, the real laws are the gospel laws, and that's the statutes. And then all the codes are the epistles of our law system here right now, because they're giving examples and different things like that in the process, the parables of the system.
One just has to know how to be able to, I mean, I want to recommend anyone just go into the code, you know, like without having a foreknowledge. But once you start understanding what's going on with the banking and everything, then when you have the foundation of the law and the dictionary rooted, the codes will make more sense, honestly.
Right.
But I just wanted to make sure that you got that flashback. That's all.
Yep, I got it.
So I think we're on the right track here with utilizing that trio to go in and do the acquisitions with the 1099 process.
Yeah.
Thank you, Patrick, and thank you, Tom, too, for everything you guys have put into this effort.
Okay. Any other questions, comments?
Now, you have the Estopple of deed up for the
I'll put a new one up there tomorrow, a new template. I'll shorten it down. I was writing mine up, and I've got pretty close, and then I've got one girl coming up tomorrow, and I'll basically try and get hers, but she's coming up to get the template for to go and get that individual banker's EIN, so I've got most of hers already written up for her, that she just needs to go in and get it in online and fill it out. But,
right.
Yeah, the template's up there. My template of how I filled it out. You just have to make your appropriate changes, putting your Social Security number and everything else in there. And see, we'll close down that Social Security banking account. Okay? But that's one of the instruments that they're using.
Yes. Did you mention the 1096 form, too? It has to be filed with the 1099.
When you send your red copies of the 1099As in, you have to also send them in by a 1096 form.
There you go.
And you only, when you're doing a 1099A, you do not fill in, I think it's block 5. You leave that blank. So I think you put the value in block 4 on that form. Read the instructions, people, so you don't screw this thing up. The instructions are there for a reason. They're there to try and help you, especially like on the SS4. There's numerous different things that you can fill out that SS4 for. You have to look at the appropriate one that you're utilizing here so that you know which blanks you have to fill in.
Hey, Patrick, it's Steve. You call it a private birthing patented banking account? Or that's what you started off saying at the beginning of the deal, at the beginning of today's call? private birthing patented bank account. You're referring to the certificate of live birth. You just were upgrading the meaning of it. Did you guys hear me?
I heard you, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if Pat is still on the line or not.
Private birthing patented banking account, yeah. That's what primarily
Oh, he got
is
muted.
what we're doing an estoppel of deed on.
Tom,
Yeah,
Tom.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
somehow, Patrick, you got muted. I just noticed. I turned that off.
Okay. Yeah, I just tried to unmute myself and basically said you muted me.
I wasn't even on that computer.
Yes. That certificate of live birth is our master birthing bank asset account under patent, under a letters patent.
Okay.
And then if you had military service, you had a selective service patent account, but it did not get activated unless you went on active duty. And completed your active duty time frame. Okay?
Yeah.
And then basically you had a fidelity policy there while you were on active duty, and we know that basically the government has all these at least $10 million life insurance policies on the military personnel overseas. All these widows and everything from military personnel, they can go in and claim that $10 million or that $11.2 million fidelity policy. That basically, like the United States Navy, in my case, Fidelity and Guarantee Company, had on me. It's still there because I haven't claimed it. And basically that policy, the U.S. Navy is still utilizing that as a collateral for all their defense funding. Now, when I went into inactive duty, under the Veterans Administration, Fidelity and Guarantee Company, they also have a loss of life policy on me for $11.2 million. Some people that went into dual service, like they may have been in the Navy and then they may have been in the Army. More than likely, they've got two different active fidelity accounts for $11.2 million. You put a claim in. Okay, Medicare is a Medicare Fidelity and Guarantee Company. But they try and get you to pay for extra insurance. Just like the state tries to get you to, for your automobile, tries to get you to go out and buy another insurance policy. That's against the laws of insurance. You're now holding two insurance policies against the same item. It's insurance fraud. Of course, that's what most all of this is. It's all about insurance fraud. And then you can turn around, and when you start looking at this, then you can turn around and put a 3949A into the CID, filled out properly now, because now you know the company that you're going after. It's a fidelity and guarantee company. And then they can go in, the CID can go in and check any records out there. See, the IRS will work with you when you understand who you are and get your identifications down right. Okay, any other questions?
Hey, Patrick.
Yeah.
What about your personal Social Security number? Do you still have that, or did you go ahead and quit that, and now it's...
Did what?
Your private Social Security number. You quit the SSN, right, for yourself?
No, I haven't terminated that whole policy yet.
Oh, okay.
I did put a claim in for the life insurance policy. And see, when you take that away from them, you're taking primarily the main collateral source away from them. But see, they still have the assurance fund that they can use as collateral. So I put I forget what I put in for that one, $25 million. Maybe $50 million, I don't know.
Question for you, Pat. On the 1096 form, if you bring that up, initially, when we were filling it out back, a year or so ago, up in the top right-hand corner where it says official use, we were putting in the number on the back of the Social Security.
No. No, because I'm going after numerous different accounts when I fill that out.
Right.
Okay? I'm coming in with my estate banker's EIN on that form. That's who the filer is. Okay? I'm filing as the individual banker for my two bank accounts to draw the funds out of the customer's accounts. Okay? That number on the back of the Social Security card is nothing more than basically a number like a sequence number for counterfeiting. But it also does, if you can have up to supposedly 11 of those during your lifetime. So, and essentially, every time you get a new card, you're creating a new $11.2 million life insurance policy, loss of life insurance policy.
So I
fully
have
funded.
2 cards actually. I actually have 2 cards. So are you saying I should do that for both of them?
Yeah, if you've got 2 different numbers, you put a claim in for those 2 life insurance policies.
Well, they're the same
That's what that number
but...
on the back is also. It's a life insurance policy under the fidelity side of their fidelity and guarantee company.
Okay.
Okay? But you fill that out and put that in the description on the 1040 or on the 1099A.
Okay. Makes sense. I got that.
And then when you fill out the 1099A, basically for their side, you take the dashes out of the numbers.
Right. So the birth certificate registration as the account number and the social.
Yeah, because, see, they're a 2-dimensional system, and they can't run a dash, so they remove all the dashes in their numbers. Only the living can run a dash.
It's really good stuff. Well, that's all I have. I mean, there's 18 callers on this call right now. I called back in, and that's how we're on. So, I mean, I think if you guys have any questions, you should really open your mouth now and ask me.
Hey, Patrick.
Yeah.
A few calls back, you got a letter from the motor vehicle department saying that you're free from financial obligation. What caused that letter? Do you know?
Basically, what caused that letter, I think, was because basically of my individual banker's EIN number.
Yeah.
A couple of the guys down in South Carolina got notification that basically they owe no taxes. And it was only after they'd done and had their individual banker's EIN number. Because as an individual banker, we owe no taxes. The taxes are owed to us. We're the source. And all taxes have to go back to the source. So that's why they're banking taxes that they owe us, that they're withholding from us. Our customer accounts owe banking taxes to us because we're the source of their funding.
That's great.
So what was that little excerpt from 1985, I think, with that IRS, the director memo, whatever? What court case did that come from?
Well, you can look it up. Okay, it talks about it. Larry Beecraft, or Lawrence, whatever his name was, Beecraft out of Alabama, basically was the one that was the defense attorney in that court case, and it has Duncan as the prosecuting attorney on that. And so you can look up there, and it was basically about that. So there should be enough information. One of the guys pulled it up right away when I was talking to him on the phone the other day. But you don't need it, okay? You don't really need it. You can read the letter, and then basically the next year we know, and you can go in and check this out, when was the first 1041 form put into play? Well, it was the next year. So basically, by that substantiation right there, it confirms what that commissioner was saying. And he wasn't going to put that out on a letterhead because later on in there, he says, destroy this memo. This is a one-time issue. Now destroy it. This is not for the record books. But see, so many people run around. Well, it doesn't have the IRS letterhead on, so it can't be valid. It's a fraud. Bullshit. Check it out. They said use a 1040X this year until the new form is created. Well, what new form was created next year? The 1041. But then you had to have the right sequence on that 1041 to be able to claim your shit back. You had to come in as the individual banker because you are the main private banker out here that is funding all these public entities. Okay?
Right.
This is Malik calling from Washington State. I personally know someone who was successful with doing that 1041 got a $900,000 check, and I'm trying to get him to show me how he did it himself. So he showed a few other people; they were able to get them checks as well. So, I mean, I'm just coming from a person that know that someone was successful at doing it. So, I just wanted to share that.
Yeah. There's people have been, and see, even the Secret Service has said that basically what we have been doing was not quite right. We were missing something. And the thing that we were missing was that we needed to be an individual banker for a private bank. Then, basically, as an individual banker for a private bank, you have all the rights to issue your own bills of exchange and everything else. You also have the right to take the Federal Reserve dollars in and convert them. Read what it says about a bank, what a bank has the capability of doing. You have all those rights now once you get your proper authorization and acknowledgement that you are a private bank and an individual banker of that private bank. So when we got that that EIN for the individual banker, that was monumental. We just didn't quite see it at the point in time, but we knew that basically it was a big key component. And now we've got some of these outfits coming and say, "Hey, you're under no financial obligation." Well, you're damn right I'm under no financial obligation to you. You've got my assets being held there. You're under an obligation to me because you're my customer and you owe your dues to this bank. In a lot of cases, you're overdue. And that's what I put on the little sticky when I sent these 1099-As into the U.S. Treasurer, to the state of Iowa Treasurer, and to the Vicar General in New York City, that your taxes are overdue. And I'm here to collect. And I will send my collection agency after you. And my collection agency is the IRS.
Hey, Patrick?
Yeah.
I'm still working for a wage for a company. I just got my private banker's EIN. Are they going to notify me that I don't owe any taxes and don't need to pay any insurance because I'm financially
Probably
secure?
not. Probably not.
Okay.
You've got to get out there and do you have your EIN for your foreign grantor trust in your estate?
I have for the estate, but not for the foreign grantor trust. I'm not quite sure how to
Okay, you need to
yet.
get in there and get that foreign grantor trust EIN now. Now you
Okay.
turn around and you do some of these 1099-As out here and listen to the call from Friday night. Tom has it recorded. And then listen to this call again and get those 1099-As in there and file your 1041 to claim your taxes back, and then you can quit that goddamn job.
Hallelujah.
Okay?
Yes.
Yeah, people, I just want to throw in there once again, like, this is the real deal. I mean, I wanted to also one-up with the...
You got to speak up a little clearer.
All right, can you hear me now? Can you hear me okay?
A little better.
But to add to that, like, this is the real deal. I mean, like, the Treasury
Hang on
Department...
just a second.
Yeah.
Okay. Try it again.
All right. I just wanted to add to what the gentleman said a few comments ago about having evidence of $9,000 check being filed by someone he knew who did an acquisition. We did an acquisition as well, and we had a direct deposit into a Wells Fargo bank account for $25,000. So, like, I mean, it will work. You just got to do it correctly, you know, like, and should process through. It took some time to process through, and I think it was because the incorrect form was used, but it should go through. So
yeah, it should go right through as soon as you have your banker's EIN number and your estate and foreign grantor trust, and then you come in as the individual banker. It should be a done deal as soon as they see that.
Yep.
And you have your Form 56 also in there. Now you've got all your substantiating document, and basically they will try and get you as a private banker, your funds, to you as quick as possible.
Now, the Form 56 and Form 56F, I forgot what the difference is between them.
The Form 56F is the one you need, okay?
All right.
That's because you're a financial institution as a private bank.
All right. Beautiful. Put all this together. I'm actually going to get this in this week. So.
Okay. Anybody else?
I have a question.
Okay.
Hey, thanks, Patrick. We'll listen to the tape and get sharpened up.
My question is this: are all the endorsements still the same? It seems like some of the ideas were changed around. Like, are we supposed to add the F&G company to the endorsements or anything like that?
Well, basically, for the endorsements, okay, you can add that on there if you want to when you send that back. And then basically you know that the customer account, they're the customer. They're our banking customer, okay, and they've utilized our assets. Now, basically, when you go like to the Attorney General's office, basically they have a customer department where you send those in. Even like you get something from the DOT, it has a customer number on there. They're the customer. That's their number to our private bank. And we don't have to cow down to them, especially when we put our private bank Estopple by deed and banker's lien in. Now we have their customer accounts all liened up. Now, if they do not comply, basically we can go in and liquidate their bank account when they don't settle it within 3 days.
So if I had a bill that I wanted to pay, I would maybe just send an endorsement and an Estopple to the biller and copy it to the Attorney General?
Yeah, you'd sign it down below, okay, as the individual banker, okay? Modify it appropriately to cover what I've just been talking about, okay? Those were examples. Now, take the updated information and modify it appropriately. Okay?
Okay, thank you, Patrick.
Okay. Anybody else?
Hey, Patrick. Let me take myself off. You have a document titled "How to Set Up Trust and File 1041." I was wondering if this process was at all connected to that document that you have.
That's probably an old one, okay?
Yeah, it's a good document though. I actually followed it, and it led me to, like, just for example, the Social Security Administration. And I was able to look in there and look at all the money that they had been taking, and plus all of those taxes that we're speaking about. It talks about, getting the transcripts for all of that stuff. It was a really good document, and I just wanted to see if at all it was connected,
Yeah. Basically, almost every document that I've done out there really turns around and substantiates everything that I'm talking about right now. It was all
right on,
sort of piecemeal, trying to put this puzzle together.
No doubt. Yes, indeed. Cool. Yeah, the guy who, was getting the checks for people, one thing that I noticed that was interesting was that one of the guys that he was working with had never had a job before, and even he was able to get money. So I'm like, see, that it just shows you that money was already there.
Yeah. And I forget who I was talking to, somebody that basically said that this guy hadn't had any, or he was working a low-level job or something like that, and then all of a sudden he started cashing in all these insurance policies. Well, what insurance policies was he cashing in? Basically these big ones like this, under the fidelity side of all these accounts.
So isn't that like the stock market side?
Well, it's like the de jure and the de facto side, okay, of the situation, okay?
Right.
You've got that fully funded fidelity account. They have basically taken funds out of your asset and put your funds into those fidelity accounts, okay?
Right.
And so that is, and see, they had to do that to basically have the collateral to write the bonds on the other side under the guarantee side. So we granted, see, we were the grantor of that trust, that fidelity trust in life insurance or loss of life policy that was created. We were the grantor. That's why we used the foreign grantor trust to claim those assets. Follow me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm with you for sure.
Okay.
I followed the whole process. Got that banker's EIN too. Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? Okay.
Yeah, real quick. I'm looking at the Form 56S form, and I'm looking down at Part 2 with the authority, or the evidence of fiduciary authority, which they have appointment of conservator, appointment of receiver, which I'm guessing it wouldn't be any of these, but it would be other evidence of creation.
It'd be other. It'd be other.
Okay.
Other.
And
then you write in that you're coming in as your private banker. You've assigned you're a private bank, and you're assigning your individual banker that responsibility.
Okay.
Yeah, use the other blocks in all these forms quite a bit. Even when I went and got that banker's EIN, I think there was about 2 or 3 blocks there that I marked other and then filled in what I meant by other.
Yeah, when I got my banker's EIN, I followed the example that was just on a blank piece of paper, and I just kind of figured out what information was on that piece of paper and needed to go where on the IRS online form, and just plugged it in there. But finished, and it kicked me back my banker's EIN immediately.
Yeah. Says within about 2 to 10 minutes you'll have the letter back.
Yep. It was less than 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. I'm going to drop off here, Tom. We'll catch you guys later.
Thank you, Patrick.
Okay. Good night.
Okay. Good night. Okay. Dom, you there? Dom. Dom.
I was muted and my mouse wouldn't move. Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, we'll talk to you later. Okay, you take care.
I'll wrap it up and I'll download the call and put it up for people.
Okay. Yeah, if you guys want to continue talking, go ahead. Okay, talk to you later.
Thank you, Patrick.